Chapter 15 doesn't stand alone. Chapter 15 comes after 14 chapters of explanation about the gospel and the things that he wants the people in Rome to know. And if you don't get that he said a whole lot that leads up to 15, you'll sort of see 15 as being this independent sort of Christian mandate and not realize that it's the culmination of the gospel he's been sharing. So here is the first thing that the apostle is going to say at the beginning of chapter 15, is that the strong is supposed to descend to the building up of the weak. Verse number 1, now we who are strong are to bear the weaknesses of those without strength and not please ourselves. He said, don't please yourself. He said, but please your neighbor. That just goes counter to everything that I know and hold dear about me. That I'm supposed to not consider pleasing myself, but I'm supposed to consider pleasing you. Now, to clarify, because I know the reader would probably thinking, and I know he didn't just say that, he's going to clarify, he's going to go further in verse 2, and he says, each of us is to please his neighbor. Y'all see it? He is to please his neighbor, and listen, for his good and to his edification. The strong is supposed to descend to the weaker. In all of those disputable matters, right, other than doctrine, those disputable matters, we are to descend to the weak and not ask the weak to be elevated to the strong. For even Christ did not please himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of those who reproached you fell on me. In other words, he says, listen, if Jesus cannot please himself for the sake of pleasing you, then you cannot please yourself for the sake of pleasing your weaker brother. Jesus had to descend to where you were because you were weak. He didn't decide to stay in glory with the Father, but he descended to where you were in order to have a fellowship with you. And so listen, none of you are above Jesus. If Jesus is able to descend, surely you can descend. You cannot please yourself.